Hello everyone. Well, today we would like to present our presentation. It is about an analysis of regular and irregular verb in student essay writing. But before we start, we would like to introduce ourselves first. My name is Wayan Puspayani with NPM 0023. And my friends,
My name is Deana Putri with NPM 0072.
well, let's start the presentation now. Tenses is any form of the verb that may be used to show the time of the act, an event, or state is expressed by the verb. Josie 2014 stated that there are three kinds of tenses. They are past tense, the form of verb that usually express an action that happened in the past, and then present tense, the form of verb that usually express in an action that happened in the present or at this time, and then future tense, the form of verb that usually express an action that will happen in the future. Blakeslee and Hogefen state that simple past tense is to express an action or state of being that began and ended in the past or happened before now. Two elements of meaning related to the past tense is the first one, the happening. The happening takes place before the present moment and the speaker has a definite time in mind. In simple past tense, the second form of the verb or verb to is divided into two types, namely regular and irregular verb. Josie states that regular verbs form their past tense by adding d or ed in the base form or plain form, while irregular verbs form their past tense differently through a vowel and consonant change. So here's the method. The design of the study is qualitative research. Data used in this research is the form of verb to, both regular and irregular verb, while the source data in this research is the student's writing composition. The document used in this research is taken from the result of the 14 students writing essays. The objective of the study is to know the use of regular and irregular verb in the students writing an essay and to know the most dominant verb that past written by the students in their students writing an essay. For the first example of students writing is on 29 December 2019, I and a few of my friends closed the year to go to Beach Kukup Gunung Kidul, Yogyakarta. We gathered at 5 a.m. to just drink coffee and eat snack. We started to go at 6 a.m. from the Solo. When we arrived at Bantul, we stopped to eat. And after that, we continued back to the beach destination Kukup. We went home at 11 p.m. and on the way home, we visited the Ngeranahan Beach as a TPI beach or fish shelter by fishermen. We both squid and crabs to cook at the home. Until at my home, we took a bath, we cooked and ate together before we each went home. So from that example, those verbs follow the spelling rules of the word with the ending E is added by D. For example, the verb one close change into close, verb one arrive change into arrive, verb one continue change into continue, and then the common regular verb is added by AD. For example, the verb one gather change into gather, and then the verb one start change into started, the verb one visit change into visited, and verb one cook change into cook, while the irregular verbs are both took, ate, and went. Those verbs show an irregular pattern. For example, when the verb to is bought, then the verb one is buy. When the verb to is took, then the verb one is take. When the verb to is eat, then the verb one is eat. And then when the verb to is went, then the verb one is go. Oh, so for the rest of the presentation will be present by my friend.
So this is the second example of student writing. During during last year, I used my vacation time to go to the beach. I went on holiday to the Glass Terrace Beach in the Gunung Kidul. I went there yesterday with my lover. I left the house at 8 p.m. and got there at 10. I traveled from my house in about 2 hours. After I arrived, I immediately parked the motorcycle. After that, I walked to the entrance. At the entrance, we had to pay for the entrance ticket and book a ticket for the selfie. After getting my ticket, I immediately went in to find a place to wait for my queue number to be called by the clerk. Here there were many places to take picture with ticket fees ranging from 20 to 60 per person. I wait quite a long time because many visitors also come here for the holidays. After an hour of waiting, I finally got my queue number. After completing my photo, I returned to the parking lot to get a motorcycle. I returned home. I arrived home at 3. That's a little story of my vacation late last year. So from that example, those verbs follow the spelling rules of the word with the ending A is added by D. For example, the verb use change to use. Verb arrive change to arrive. The common regular verb is added by a D. For example, the verb park change to park. Verb one walk change to walk. Verb one wait change to waited. Verb one return change to returned. While the irregular verbs are went, left, got, had, bought, came, and were. Those verbs show an irregular pattern. For example, verb go change to went, verb get change to got, verb leave change to left, verb have change to had, verb buy change to bought, verb come change to came, and to be is are change to were. Based on the analysis of the student English writing composition, it found that the student used both regular and irregular verbs in writing an essay. This is the table analysis is start below. Based on the table, the regular, there are data 142 data and irregular 170 data. Several things must be considered in the way of forming regular verbs by adding the letter ad, suffix, or d in the basic verb, which as follow. First, generally to form the second verb and the third verb, with add ad letter, suffix to the form of basic verb. Second, if the basic verb ends with a vowel a, then the form past tense by adding the letter ending d. Third, if the basic verb ends with the letter y and is preceded by a consonant, then the letter y is replaced with the letter I, then added the letter ad from the past tense. Fourth, if the basic verb ends with the letter y and is preceded by a vowel, then the letter y is not changed but added with the letter y to form the past tense. 5. If the basic verb consists of one syllable and ending with a dead letter that begins with a vowel, then the last dead letter is duplicate, then plus the letter ad to form verb 2. 6. If the basic verb has more than one syllable and ends with a dead letter is preceded by a vowel, but end pronunciation fall on the last syllable, the letter finally duplicate, then added with the letter added to from verb 2. 7. If the basic verb is two-syllable, ending with a consonant preceded by a vowel, but the emphasis of the pronunciation falls on the first syllable, then immediately plus the letter added to from verb 2. 8. If the basic verb end with the letter Y is preceded by a vowel, then the suffix I is multiplied and then added to the form verb 2. 9. If the basic verb ends with the letter I is preceded by two vowels, then the letter of the suffix I do not need to be duplicated, but is immediately added to the letter added to form the past tense. 10. If the basic verb end with the letter C is preceded by a vowel, then the letter C plus the letter K, then add the letter added to form past tense. So the conclusion is related to the using of the regular and irregular verb in 14 students writing an essay. It showed that the student used both regular and irregular verb in the student writing an essay. Both regular and irregular verbs, there are 312 data. In verb 2, in irregular verbs, there are 142 data. And irregular verbs, there are 170 data. It shows that the most dominant verb as written by the student in the student's writing essay is an irregular verb. Regular verbs are verbs that can change according to the tense and change it regularly. And irregular verbs are verbs that change according to the tense and do not comply with normal compliance, so that this form must be memorized by the learners or student. All right, that's all about our presentation. We are sorry if there are mistakes in this presentation, and thank you so much for watching this video. Goodbye.